What is up, guys? EJ here, back with another video, and today is going to be my DVD collection for 2012 and part one of the comedy section, which I'm probably going to break up into 3 parts. So let's get started. Up first we have 40 Days and 40 Nights, a pretty fun movie from 2002 with Josh Hartnett and Shannon Sossamon. Fun sex comedy. Next we have 50-50 from last year, one of the best movies of last year, number 2 on my top 10. Great film with Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Seth Rogen. Very funny, very touching, just a great film. Next we have The 4-Year-Old Virgin, one of the best comedies of the 2000s. Steve Carell, just great. Seth Rogen, the whole Judd Apatow crew. Just love this movie. Okay, next we have a screwball comedy from 1949, Adam's Rib, classic Spencer Tracy and Katharine Hepburn. Next we have Adventureland, a great film from 2009, I believe. Very funny, great cast, Jesse Eisenberg, Kristen Stewart, who I actually liked in this film, Bill Hader, Kristen Wiig, Ryan Reynolds. Just an awesome movie set at a theme park. Next we have Airplane, classic from 1980, of course, with Leslie Nielsen, one of the funniest movies of all time. Next we have Amélie, the beautiful French film from 2001 starring Audrey Tautou. Just a joyous movie. Absolutely love this film. The music is great, the performances, and very funny. Okay, next we have American Splendor with Paul Giamatti and Hope Davis. Very funny movie. Taking off some old cellophane wrapping there. Okay, moving on. Anchorman from, when the hell did this come out now? 2004? Probably Will Ferrell's funniest and most quotable film. Just hilarious. Okay, next we have Animal House from 1978, National Lampoon's Animal House, just a classic, of course, with John Belushi, very early Kevin Bacon performance, hilarious all around. Next we have another classic screwball comedy. This is Arsenic and Old Lace from 1944, directed by Frank Capra with Cary Grant. I don't like these modern covers though for these older films. I mean, it looks like it was made a couple years ago, but obviously it wasn't. Another screwball comedy with Cary Grant and Irene Dunne, The Awful Truth from 1937. Next we have Bachelor Party from 1984, classic Tom Hanks comedy with Adrian Zmed. I need to pick up some of the other comedies that Tom Hanks made in the 80s. Films like Money Pit and The Man with One Red Shoe, Splash, films like that. Next we have Barton Fink, a great Coen Brothers film from 1991 with John Goodman and John Turturro, Coen regulars back in the day. Next we have Beautiful Girls from 1996, one of my favorite comedies of the 90s. Such a great cast. Very funny movie. Natalie Portman is just awesome in this film as a young Lolita type. Very touching and funny relationship that she forms with Timothy Hutton. Just an awesome film. Next we have Bedazzled, the remake from 2000 with Brendan Fraser and Elizabeth Hurley. I mainly like this because of Liz Hurley and all the sexy outfits she wears in this film. I mean, just look at the pictures on the back of her. Used to love her back then. Next we have Being John Malkovich, one of my all-time favorite films. Just brilliant, directed by Spike Jonze. Charlie Kaufman screenplay is amazing, and I also picked this up on the Criterion Collection a month or 2 ago. Just a great film. Next we have Being There from 1979, brilliant performance by Peter Sellers and Shirley MacLaine, great film. Next I have a couple of The Best of Comedy Central presents with some great comics like Lewis Black, Jeff Dunham, Jim Gaffigan, who's one of my favorites, Mitch Hedberg, the late great, people like Brian Regan and Carlos Mencia, who I know a lot of people hate these days, and I didn't mention Dane Cook for a reason, but he's okay in this. And Uncensored Part 2, the same sort of thing. I really like Mike Birbiglia. Of course, it's got Zach Galifianakis, Patton Oswalt's good as well, Nick Swardson, Daniel Tosh. Really fun, those. Beverly Hills Cop from 1984. I need to pick up the sequels. Just classic Eddie Murphy, of course. The Big Lebowski from 1998, one of the Coen brothers' most beloved films, of course. Jeff Bridges, John Goodman, John Turturro. Like I said, Coen regulars. Just a great film. Next we have the Blues Brothers from 1980 as well. John Belushi, Dan Aykroyd, just classic. Love this film. Great music and completely hilarious. Next we have Borat, or Cultural Learnings of America from Make Benefit Glorious Nation of Kazakhstan. Absolutely hilarious. The shame is he followed it up with was it Bruno, which sucked. And I gotta say, I was not really a big fan of The Dictator. It had some funny moments, but it wasn't that good, to be honest. Next we have Born Yesterday from 1950. Great film with Judy Holliday and William Holden. Directed by George Cukor. Bowfinger from 1999. Probably the last decent thing that Eddie Murphy has ever done. I mean, since then he's made nothing but crappy family movies, awful comedies. But this film with Steve Martin is hilarious. Heather Graham is in it as well. Just a great movie. Very funny about a filmmaker trying to make a film with a star who doesn't want to be in it, so he gets his twin brother. The Breakup with Vince Vaughn and Jennifer Aniston. Good movie. I like this film. I've always been a fan of Vince Vaughn, and I think he's great in this. Next we got Bridesmaids on Blu-ray, one of the best comedies of 2010. Maybe a little overrated in my opinion, but the cast is fun. It goes on a bit too long, but I like Kristen Wiig and, of course, what's her name? That McCarthy chick is very funny in this. Melissa McCarthy, that's it. Okay, next we got the classic Bringing Up Baby from 1938. Just brilliant. Katharine Hepburn and Cary Grant. One of the funniest screwball comedies of the classic era. Next we have Bruce Almighty from 2003. Jim Carrey as God. Funny movie. I was not a fan of Evan Almighty, to be honest, but I enjoyed the first one. Next we got The Burbs from 1989 with Tom Hanks. One of my favorite comedies of the 80s. I've watched this film at least 100 times. I pretty much know it by heart. There's just something about it that just cracks me up every time, especially Corey Feldman, who's great in this. Burn After Reading, another Coen Brothers film from, when did this come out? 2008, I believe. Great cast. Got George Clooney, Brad Pitt, Frances McDormand, John Malkovich, Tilda Swinton. Just a hilarious comedy about sort of spies and espionage, and completely over the top, but very funny. The Cable Guy with Jim Carrey and Matthew Broderick from 1996. Directed by Ben Stiller. Not great, but it has its moments, that's for sure. A great soundtrack as well. Next we have The Change Up on Blu-ray. One of my favorite comedies of last year. I thought Ryan Reynolds and Jason Bateman were hilarious in this film. Sort of your typical body swap comedy, but I thought it was hilarious. Next we got Clerks, Kevin Smith's classic from 1994. Still my favorite Kevin Smith film, to be honest. Just great. And Clerks 2, not as good obviously as the original, but still loads of fun. I enjoy Kevin Smith's writing, his direction. I'll just leave alone for the moment. Next we have Click, Not always been a huge fan of Adam Sandler. Actually, I'm not, to be honest, but I like Click. I thought this was a good film. Kate Beckinsale and Christopher Walken are good as well. Next we have Jerry Seinfeld, comedian. Well, it's just called Comedian, the film he made in 2002 about his him returning to doing his stand-up after the end of Seinfeld, of course. Very good film about stand-up if you like stand-up comedy, which I do. Coming to America, classic Eddie Murphy from 1988, just brilliant. Absolutely love this film. Arsenio Hall, hilarious. Crocodile Dundee from 86. I need to pick up the sequel as well because I do enjoy that film as well, but the first one is just classic. So many great moments, and I love the ending to this film. Next we have Date Night on Blu-ray from 2010. Steve Carell and Tina Fey, very fun. Mark Wahlberg, nice cameos by like James Franco and Mila Kunis. Next we have Francois Truffaut's Day for Night from 1973, great French film. Okay. Next we have Denis Leary's Ultimate Collection. I mainly got this because it has a No Cure for Cancer on it. One of his classic stand-ups from the 90s or late 80s. Just brilliant. Okay, next we have The Descendants, one of the best films of last year with George Clooney. Very funny, set in Hawaii. The girl who plays his daughter, the older daughter, is great in this film. Dirty Rotten Scoundrels from 1988, Steve Martin and Michael Caine. Next we have Dr. Strangelove, probably my favorite black comedy of all time. It is my favorite Stanley Kubrick film. Just brilliant. Peter Sellers in 3 different roles. George C. Scott. Yeah, just one of my favorite movies of all time, period. Dodgeball, a true underdog story from 2004 with Vince Vaughn and Ben Stiller. Very funny. It's got what's the guy's name? I'm blanking on his name now. Justin Long, a whole bunch of good actors. Next we have Dogma, another great Kevin Smith film from 1999. Man, it's hard to believe that film is that old now. Ben Affleck, Matt Damon, great cast. Jason Lee, hilarious. Alan Rickman, Chris Rock, just a brilliant film in my opinion. Next we have The Doom Generation from 1995, directed by Greg Araki, starring Rose McGowan. Just a very intense film. Teen Angst Movie Company, that's pretty apropos of what this film is. It's one of those teen angst films that was made in the 90s. Dumb and Dumber, the classic from 1994 with Jim Carrey and Jeff Daniels. Everybody loves that film. Next we have Dutch from 1991, one of my favorite underrated movies with Ed O'Neill and Ethan Randall, who became Ethan Embry. Just a hilarious movie set at Thanksgiving. I absolutely adored this film. Ugh, getting tired here. My arm is getting tired. Ed Wood, Tim Burton's film from 1994, just classic. Brilliant performance by Johnny Depp and Martin Landau. One of my favorite Tim Burton films. Next we have Ed TV from 1999. Very good cast: Matthew McConaughey, Liz Hurley, Woody Harrelson, Ellen DeGeneres. Very good film about TV and basically before the whole reality TV craze took over. Next we have a couple of Kevin Smith sort of interview, speaking tour DVDs. An Evening with Kevin Smith, where he goes up on stage like on college campuses. And I also have An Evening with Kevin Smith 2, Evening Harder, sort of parodying the Die Hard 2 title. Next we have Evolution from, when the hell did this come out? 2001. Pretty funny movie actually with David Duchovny and Julianne Moore. You got Sean William Scott and Orlando Jones. Okay, next we have Fanboys from 2009. One of my favorite comedies of that year. I thought it was great. Just all the Star Wars references were hilarious, and it's got a fun cast. The sort of Star Wars versus Star Trek type of movie. Fish Called Wanda from 1988, just classic, of course. John Cleese, Jamie Lee Curtis, Kevin Kline, Michael Palin. One of the best comedies of the 80s. Next we have Forgetting Sarah Marshall, great movie from 2007, I believe. No, that can't be right. Like 2008. Great cast, another sort of Judd Apatow type of film, written by Jason Segel, and of course starring him and Mila Kunis and Kristen Bell, Russell Brand. Four Rooms, great movie from 1995, 4 segments directed by 4 different directors. Tim Roth is sort of the busboy. It takes place in a hotel. Great cast, and Tarantino directs the last segment. Next we have Friday from 1995, just classic with Ice Cube and Chris Tucker. Fun with Dick and Jane. Not a great movie, but I am a Jim Carrey fan, and I sort of enjoyed this. Him and Téa Leoni as a married couple who basically lose everything and turn to crime. And I'm gonna end on the F's because we're already up to almost 17 minutes. Funny People from 2009. My favorite Judd Apatow film, to be honest. I thought it was great. Adam Sandler, Seth Rogen, and Leslie Mann. So that's part 1 of comedy. Thank you for watching as always, and until next time with part 2, I'll see ya.